In today's video, I will be ranking all the UFC pay-per-view cards from January 2026 to June 2026. And let's get started off with UFC 324 and Justin Gage versus Paddy Pimblett. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in A tier. It was a really good fight. The main event was one of the one of the greatest fights in in this year, and then you had Sean O'Malley, which was a really good fight. Sean O'Malley versus Eamon Zahabi. Not Eamon Zahabi, sorry, it's Song Yadong. You had the Waldo fight, and the prelims were good too. Now you had Josh Hockett against Denzel Freeman. It was a really good card. I'm so sorry, but yeah, it was a really good card. Just engage your Paddy Pimblett. I think the thing that would have made the S tier though is if the Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes fight took place. I think that could have made it an S tier, regardless of I'm so sorry. Regardless of the fight result. So yeah, Gagey Pimblett, I'm gonna put in an A tier. And then for UFC 325 Volkanovski versus Lopez 2, I'm putting in B tier. I just think the fight was really unnecessary. The main event. And we all thought Movsar Evil was more deserving. Well, he is now. And it was just a really useless event. I mean, the co-main event was good though. Dan Hooker Benoit, that was a really fun fight. You had Mauricio Hofi versus Rafael Fiziev, which was a good fight. You had Junior Tafa. You had Taito Ivasa and Tyson Teixeira, which was one of the best fights of all time. You had Sal Kilden Milwaukee, which was a really good fight, and the prelims were alright too. Yeah, and the crowd were really bad tonight, except for the Volk fight. The crowd was really depressing. Yeah, I think I'm putting this in B tier for a reason. If you had maybe a few more fights, a few more better fights on this card, it could have been like an A or even an S. But the main event was really let down. It was pretty boring. So yeah, I'm gonna put in B tier. And then for UFC 326, Holloway vs Oliveira 2. I'm gonna put this in A tier. Not S tier. Sorry, A tier. Yeah, this fight card was good. Of course, the main event was very not expected how we all expected it to go. We thought Holly was gonna knock him out, but Oliveira dominated him in 5 rounds, grappling with the wrestling. Yeah, it was a really good fight. And then the co-main event, Ryan DeRidder versus Bo Nickel. Ryan DeRidder versus if I was Ryan DeRidder versus Kyle Barella, I'm actually gonna put this in B tier. Yeah, it's just not really. It just really a good card. You had Gregor Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira, which was a really good fight, a really good knockout. You had um I can't remember. I'm sorry. You had Rojas Jr. or the Rob Font, which is very boring. It just really wasn't exposed to the hype, and even on paper, it was a really bad card until the main event. The prelims were alright too. I think there was a few finishes, but yeah, I'm gonna put this on B tier. I mean, it just didn't really live to expectations. Then for UFC 327, Yuri Prohaska versus Carlos Solberg. I'm just gonna put this in A tier. Yeah, the main event was sick. Solberg got the knockout after being on one leg. You had Azamat Muzukana versus Paulo Costa, which was a really good fight. Paulo Costa broke him down. You had Blades and Hockett, which was probably the greatest fight of the year. You had Cole Swanson versus Nate Landwehr, which was a really amazing fight. And the prelims were amazing too. I mean, except from the Dominic Reyes with the Johnny Walker fight, this card was amazing. It set the expectation. And yeah, this was a really good card. And there's a reason I'm putting an A tier, because it was phenomenal. And the reason I'm not gonna put an S tier is because the Johnny Walker fight was really boring, and some of the early prelims and the prelims were not really as entertaining to watch. So yeah, I'm gonna put UFC 327 and A tier. And then for UFC 328, Chimaev versus Strickland, it's going straight in S tier. Bro, this card was insane. The main event was insane. The press conference was insane. Even the co-main event, Joshua Van destroyed Tatsuro Taira, which was insane. You had Volkov and Walter Cortez Acosta, which was a crazy fight. You had um, King Green getting Bobby Green getting a good submission win over Jeremy Stevens, which was crazy. Yeah, it was just a really good card. The build up was one of the best build up I've seen in my life. Jemai and Strickland going at each other was just really fun and entertaining to watch. Just considering the last few press conferences has been very boring, this one was very, very exciting, and the Joshua Van Tatsuro Taira was really, really good as well. And yeah, the rest of the quad delivered. Now you had, I think Suzuki was on this card as well. He delivered. You had a typical Tia versus Ozzy Diaz. This card was really good. And yeah, I think it really delivered a lot. So yeah, Chimaev versus Strickland UFC 328 at S. And then for UFC Freedom 250, it's also going in S tier. I'm just gonna go over Chimaev Strickland. This fight was just, I think this card was the greatest card of all time in combat sports history. Yes, there might be a few cards in boxing that might have been better, but if you ask me, it's one of the best. I mean, you had all finishes on the card. You had one of the greatest upsets, Elliot Sapor versus Justin Gage. Justin Gage, you get done after everyone doubted him. Even me, I doubted him. You had Cyril Gane, Alex Pereira, which is a very entertaining fight. Gane got the upset win. You had Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia, vicious knockout. You had Bo Nickel, Caldocus. You had Mercy Huffy, piecing on Michael Chandler. You had Sean O'Malley getting that absolute win over Eamon Zahabi at the White House. I just think it was a perfect card in the perfect time. Yeah, from the whole country, it was one of the best cards of all time. It was really good. I wish I could relive it again. UFC Freedom 250 was one of the best cards of all time in my opinion, if not the best. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this is a pretty quick one. I got a new microphone. Yeah, and please like and subscribe, and that I'll see you in the next video. Peace.